Okay, hi guys. Welcome to Growing Abroad with your host, Maddie Delmore. So this is super exciting. This is my first ever podcast episode, and I am really excited to be here and to have the platform to talk to you guys about my favorite topic, studying abroad. So a little bit about myself. I am currently a study abroad intern. I'm a fourth year and I am majoring in marketing. I had the opportunity to go to Florence, Italy last spring, and it was amazing. I loved it so much that I became an intern. So the purpose of this podcast is to kind of explain to you what study abroad really is, answer any questions that you guys might have, debunk some common myths about studying abroad. And I'll do that as best as I can by providing you with resources and knowledge. So let's get straight into it. Here are some general kind of fun facts, if you will, that really surprised me. So the first one is that you are 12% more likely to graduate on time if you go abroad versus if you don't. So this is crazy to me. And I think that a huge common myth that people have is that studying abroad will set you back in graduation so much. You know, you're actually more likely to graduate on time if you go abroad. I don't know why this is, but for me, I could see it as like studying abroad made me a harder worker when I got back to my home campus. So I think there's a lot of parallels there. Next fun fact is that there's actually a 7K difference in salary for those who study abroad versus those who don't. I think this is attributed to employers seeking candidates who have that cross-cultural experience. I think it's super important in the workplace nowadays, so it gives you an upper hand. Next, generally, I think people are very concerned about the language barrier, rightfully so. I do not speak Italian, and I went to Italy. I was just fine. But I also just want to let you guys know that we currently offer 58 study abroad programs, and of those 58, 50 of them do not have a language requirement, which is awesome. So yeah, those were just my little 3 fun facts to get you going and thinking about study abroad. I'm just really going to be talking a lot about my own experience so you guys have that background knowledge. And I'm sure that some of what I'm saying also applies to other people who have studied abroad as well. So some of the things that I gained a lot from my experience abroad. First of all, it really improved my self-confidence and my independence skills. And I know that a lot of people say this when they study abroad, but they say it because it's true. For example, I remember in my sophomore year of college, I took like a BCom 207 or 28 class, and it was a presentations class, and I was terrified. I am not a good presenter, or I wasn't a good presenter. I got really nervous every time before going up. You know, I wouldn't even remember what I said or talked about in my presentation because I was just so nervous. It was something I really struggled with. And now that I've gotten back, I give presentations all the time for my job, but I've just noticed how much more confident I am when I speak. I'm also better with eye contact and just delivering a more clear message to everyone, which is so awesome because I know that being a business major, I'm definitely going to have to use those skills every day. Study abroad definitely built an entire community for me. When I got back here to my home campus in Eau Claire, I will say that it's been a lot easier to make friends. I'm more involved on campus in activities, and I'm really grateful for that. It's not that the activities and events and people weren't there before I went abroad, but like I said before, going abroad built my confidence to put myself out there. It also gave me opportunities to meet other people who studied abroad. And when you talk to somebody who has also been abroad, it feels like there's an instant connection and a possibility of a friendship there, because you just have that world experience in common, and you'll definitely see the world and the US in a different lens when you get back. I love how easy it is to travel around Europe. I was able to go to places like Rome, Venice, Pisa. I went to south of France. I went to a city called Cinque Terre. I hope I am pronouncing that right. But all of these places were very affordable. It would be anywhere around 8 to 20 euro to go on a train to these places, which is just insane to me. A euro is pretty close to the American dollar, so it really just felt like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be able to see all of these cities in the time that I was there. But yeah, that was really fun. South of France was also very cool. This was the only time that we stayed in an Airbnb during my study abroad trip. A lot of the times we would stay in hostels for around 13 to 20 euro a night. And hostels are a very great option, but you also want to make sure that you're choosing one that is safe, and if you can, try to travel with people that you know, just because there are some random people that you're sharing a room with. But I never had any problems, thankfully. But yeah, we went to the beach, we went out to some cool restaurants. We went to a market that they were having. I love all of the markets that are in France and Europe. They're really, really fun to go to, especially if you like going to the farmers market here in Eau Claire. I think that you would really enjoy it. But yeah, just those little trips and getting to go on them almost every single weekend was one of the biggest highlights. But it was nice because I always felt like I was going back home when I got back to Florence on Sunday night or whatever it was. And something I also really liked about the LDM program specifically is that they do not have class on Fridays, and from what I understand, it's because they know people like to travel on the weekends, so that was a huge benefit. Okay, next, here are just some general things that are kind of nice to know when you're thinking about study abroad. It can definitely be more affordable than people think it is. Yes, study abroad can be very expensive if you choose a very expensive program, but also there are ways you can make it work. I'm gonna do a whole dedicated section to finances in a later episode. I think it'll be my next one, just because there's so much to talk about there. But in the meantime, you can always check out the Fund Your Experience tab on UWEC's Study Abroad homepage, and that will give you a lot of different resources. So then next, language was not as big of a barrier as I thought it would be. I was really, really concerned because, as I said before, I do not speak Italian, and I was going to Italy, and I thought that I would not be able to get around, not be able to communicate with people, but a lot more people speak English than you would think, which was really nice. Also, one thing I liked about the train stations were that they would usually have the directions in Italian, but then underneath that they would be in English. This isn't the case for everywhere, so you can do research about your specific country or program that you are going to or interested in to find out more about that, but you definitely do not have to be fluent. So yeah, next I just really admired watching the everyday life aspect of being in another country. It's so different when you go on a vacation and you're only there for about a week. You kind of miss that cultural component. So being there every day for 4 months, I was just able to notice things about how people dressed and the way they communicate with each other. I learned a lot of new phrases. And on top of that, I had a lot more time to check out the local coffee shops and restaurants. I got to go to more museums, and I got to eat a whole bunch of gelato from a whole bunch of different places. So yeah, I really liked that aspect of going abroad. Also, I really enjoyed how hands-on my classes were in Italy. It felt like the teachers really wanted us to have that real world experience and learn the concepts and apply them to situations. We went on field trips. For my wine business marketing class, we went to a vineyard and got to see how the wine was made. That was super cool. So I guess lastly, it was interesting to compare how people in the U.S. Go about their daily lives. It felt like Americans can tend to be very stressed out and go, go, go. And when I was in Italy, valued the enjoyment of life in general and moving at a slower pace. And I was able to bring some of those traits back with me and apply them to my own life. And I felt like it has made me a little bit more calm of a person. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up for the day, but thank you all so much for listening. It means the world to me. And if you have any questions, feel free to send them into our social media. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, at UWEC Study Abroad. I would love to hear any feedback, and I hope you guys all have a great day or night or whatever it is, and I will see you next time.